Okay. We, um, okay, let me share the Gabriela, can you make me co-host?
Yes, I did.
Oh, thank you. All right, I will quickly go through. This was actually yesterday's session, but we were already discussing these topics yesterday. You gave the summary, and then it is the human rights. So it's the same presentation. I will share it later. I noticed that as the PowerPoints are a little bit longer, I think it's difficult to make even PDF or somehow. So I will make a short video and share the video with you later on the presentation itself. Okay. So human rights. What is human rights? According to United Nations on Human Rights, I think this definition is really important. Human rights are rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of their race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. I think we all know what is happening in the world, many parts of the world, even though we are in the 21st century, we still don't see these human rights actually happening in many parts of the world. There are many discriminations, many ups and downs. It's hard, right? It's very hard. Even though we think like we are very developed, very advanced in technology, advanced in many things, but then when it comes to these things, we are still, I think, lagging behind. There are so many things missing in our real action. So I think the topic will be very helpful. Maybe we can also learn some of these things from Buddhism, and also how to incorporate these teachings into our day-to-day life. Probably the teachings in Buddhism, maybe not directly sometimes, not directly related to the modern day human rights, but still we can see even more subtler way. We can see a lot of human rights and qualities and virtues for an outstanding human being, or to live without any barrier. We do have this rooted in Buddhism. So, rooted in ancient India, we see this value and dignity of all beings. Siddhartha Gautama, or the Buddha, himself belonging to a high caste family, and then again he was very kind and compassionate. He was helpful to many, and he was equal to all. So when he became he showed a lot of compassion, and he emphasized non-violence as key values of his teachings. So liberation was the key, a liberation basically from suffering, but all kinds of defilements. So all defilements actually can be related to human right violations too, like you respect others. For example, um, I remember yesterday someone was talking about the five precepts, right? So when you say precepts, like you respect others, you respect others' life, you respect others' property, you respect others' family life, you become truthful and you become kind, you become nice. So in Buddhism, it's actually, we can summarize the whole thing into words like nice and wise. So nice in the sense you have to be kind, compassionate, generous, polite, humble, all those nice things are part of a better quality, virtuous life. And then wise, you need to know what to do and what not to do, whom to associate, whom not to associate, and what career path or whatever life um, journey that you are taking, you need to be mindful about that. You need to be careful. You need to be selective. That is part of the wisdom. So being nice and being wise can also make a better human being, and then also we can really create human rights in that way. So Buddhism's profound understanding of human rights contributions to fostering a just and harmonious society, and uh, so we can see, we can really witness, we can make it happen throughout the world by practicing these wonderful teachings uh, for better human rights situation. So there are quite a large number of sources in Buddhism. And I'm going to actually select these three suttas first. And I also have prepared an article about all the sources, both Theravada and Mahayana, and even Vajrayana context, modern scholarships. I have prepared an article. You can take a look later on. For now, maybe we will start reading with uh, one sutta, maybe to start with the Kalama Sutta. Have you heard of Kalama Sutta? No? Okay. Anyone would like to read Kalama Sutta? Okay, that will be interesting. Okay, so let me share this link also with you. I will share it. Okay. So over here we have the Kalama Sutta. I hope you can see the screen, right? Can you see the screen? Can't see you, so maybe you have to talk. All right. So let's get started with the right here. Any volunteers? Yes.
I can go, Bunty.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
The Kalamas of Kesaputta go to see the Buddha. I heard thus. Once the Blessed One, while wandering in the Kosala country with a large community of bhikkhus, entered a town of the Kalama people called Kesaputta. The Kalamas, who were inhabitants of Kesaputta, Reverend Gotama, the monk, the son of the Sakyans, has, while wandering in the Kosala country, entered Kesaputta. The good repute of the Reverend Gotama has been spread in this way. Indeed, the Blessed One is thus consummate, fully enlightened, endowed with knowledge and practice, sublime, knower of the worlds, peerless, guide of tamable men, teacher of divine and human beings, which he by himself has through direct knowledge understood clearly. He set forth the Dharma, good in the beginning, good in the middle, good in the end, possessed of meaning and the letter and complete in everything, and he proclaims the holy life that is perfectly true, perfectly pure. Seeing such consummate ones is good indeed. Then the Kalamas, who were inhabitants of Kesaputta, went to where the Blessed One was. On arriving, there some paid homage to him and sat down on one side. Some exchanged greetings with him, and after the ending of cordial, memorable talk, sat down on one side. Some saluted him, raising their joined palms, and sat down on one side. Some announced their name and family and sat down on one side. Some, without speaking, sat down on one side. The Kalamas of Kesaputta asked for guidance from the Buddha. The Kalamas, who were inhabitants of Kesaputta, sitting on one side, said to the Blessed One, "There are some monks and Brahmins, Venerable Sir, who visit Kesaputta. They expound and explain only their own doctrines. The doctrines of others they despise, revile, and pull to pieces. Some other monks and Brahmins too, Venerable Sir, come to Kesaputta. They also expound and explain only their own doctrines. The doctrines of others they despise, revile, and pull to pieces. Venerable Sir, there is doubt, there is uncertainty in us concerning them. Which of these reverend monks and Brahmins spoke the truth and which falsehood?" The criterion for rejection.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So over here, we just want to pay attention to this part, the initial question that they had, the Kesaputtas. How many of us actually have this problem? Like Jojo, I think yesterday was talking about the elephants and the blind. Just like that, people already have, they wear different lenses, different colorful lenses, and through which you see, and you see through that, and you see those colors, those perspectives, personal opinions, and then it might not really uh, give um, the real picture of the situation. And so the Kalamas had, the Kesaputtas had the similar issues. A lot of religious leaders, a lot of people came and talked to them, and they were always trying to justify their own viewpoint. So they were trying to undermine the others' viewpoints, and they were always trying to valorize, highlight their own perspective as the best. All the others are not really good. in Buddhism, it is said actually there is something called that you uplift yourself and look down upon others. So these are two opposing defilements that we have. So that was natural for many people, and the Buddha here gives a guidance to these Kesaputtas. Okay, so the criterion for rejection. Yes, please.
It is proper for you, Kalamas, to doubt, to be uncertain. Uncertainty has arisen in you about what is doubtful. Come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is in scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon an axiom, nor upon a spacious reasoning, nor upon a bias towards a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another seeming ability, nor upon the consideration. The monk is our teacher. Kalamas, when you yourselves know these things are bad, these things are blamable, these things are censured by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to harm and ill, abandon them. Greed, hate, and delusion. What do you think, Kalamas? Does greed appear in man for his benefit or harm? For his harm, venerable sir. Kalamas, being given to greed and being overwhelmed and vanquished mentally by greed, this man takes life, steals, commits adultery, and tells lies. He prompts another to do likewise. Will that be long for his harm and ill? Yes, venerable sir. What do you think, Kalamas? Does hate appear in a man for his benefit or harm? For his harm, venerable sir. Kalamas, being given to hate and being overwhelmed and vanquished mentally by hate, this man takes life, steals, commits adultery, and tells lies. He prompts another too to do likewise. Will that be long for his harm and ill? Yes, venerable sir. What do you think, Kalamas? Does delusion appear in man for his benefit or harm? For his harm, venerable sir. Kalamas, being given to delusion and being overwhelmed and vanquished mentally by delusion, this man takes life, steals, commits adultery, and tells lies. He prompts another too to do likewise. Will that be long for his harm and ill? Yes, venerable sir. What do you think, Kalamas? Are these things good or bad? Bad, venerable sir. Blamable or not blamable? Blamable, venerable sir. Censured or praised by the wise? Censured, venerable sir. Undertaken and observed, do these things lead to harm and ill or not? Or how does it strike you? Undertaken and observed, these things lead to harm and ill. Thus it strikes us here. Therefore, did we say, Kalamas? What was said thus? Come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is in a scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon an axiom, nor upon spacious reasoning, nor upon a bias towards a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another seeming ability, nor upon the consideration. The monk is our teacher. Kalamas, when you yourselves know these things are bad, these things are blamable, these things are censured by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to harm and ill. Abandon them.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jojo. So over here you can see the Buddha's um, like pedagogy, how he teaches. He's really a wonderful teacher. His techniques are really very, very amazing. Like one is this patipucha, something like you ask a question and he doesn't give answer. The audience gives the answer, but he gives some options to them, and the audience will give the answer. So he gets the answer from the audience themselves. And but this is one way of teaching the Dhamma. So um, so it is again very useful. Sometimes Buddha used this question and answer session, and in some cases he would keep talking about things. And if there are only monks, he would go deep into the philosophical or really deep Dhamma. If there are like lay people, maybe like business class people or some other people, they are not so much into the spiritual side, but yet they also want to learn something and they want to, be benefited for their own day-to-day life. And then the Buddha would talk about dana katang. He would talk about the generosity. He would talk about sila katang, the virtues, morality, and then Sagga Katang. Some people also would like to be benefited. Something like, what if I give something, do I uh, get something in return? Like, they always do like that. So the Buddha would encourage them to practice generosity, and he would be talking about the Sagga Katang, heavenly benefits. And later only he would come to the other practices like kamanang adinavang, like the danger of those sensual pleasures and all. Then he would slowly, gradually, they're called gradual teachings of the Buddha. And that's another beautiful method that the Buddha was using while teaching. Over here, Kalamas were really having bad time. How to really um, find the right one. Even today, there are so many people. They say we are saying the right thing. We are telling the right thing. All the others are wrong. So that I think for that question, we can also probably use this method, like greed, hate, and delusion. These are these are the three unwholesome roots that we all have. And the Buddha would give a really universal um, lesson, how the criterion um, to which way that we come to a conclusion if we have such a complicated situations. And this particular paragraph is called the Buddha's Charter of Free Will. And this is the universal teaching over here. Long time ago, the Buddha said, 2,500 years ago, he was teaching that. And we just came to know about the human rights. What is human rights according to United Nations? And over here, the Buddha even gives such modern, you know, connotations or definition to human rights. It's not only about living peacefully or speaking, but the Buddha is giving here a freedom to free thought, freedom of free will, free thought. Freedom of thought is one of the most sophisticated teachings that we have in this particular sutta. So this sutta, this way is really, really wonderful. He would say, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing. So there could be like that. And maybe don't know upon tradition. Sometimes even the tradition, you don't have to, you don't have to depend on even tradition. There could be, and know upon rumor, and know upon what is in a scripture. The scripture can also be scrutinized. We don't have to blindly accept everything. No upon surmise, no upon action, uh, spacious reading, bias towards notion. Um, there could be some very famous monks or very famous teachers, very famous books, very wise things can be there, but you still don't have to uh, blindly believe them. These are really amazing. So the Buddha said, what he said, like, these things are bad, these things are blamable, these things are censured by the wise, undertaken and observed. These things lead to harm and ill. They abandon them. That was the criterion for rejection. So criterion for rejection is the topic here. And then we also have criterion for acceptance. And over here, you can also see how Buddha carefully, he was talking about the precepts, like the not to kill, not to steal, not to have adultery, not to commit adultery, and then not to tell lies. And these are, again, uh, harmful for everyone. So he's asking the Kalamas, this is good or bad? And the Kalamas come to see, they come to realization, and their eyes are open that way. All right. Can I ask someone else to read from this part, please?
I can
The
read,
criteria.
Go ahead.
Oh, can I read the criteria for acceptance or?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Sure, I'll read it right now, okay? The criterion for acceptance. Come calamas do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is a scripture, nor upon surmise, nor upon an axiom, nor upon specious reasoning, nor upon a bias towards a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another seeming ability, nor upon the consideration. The monk is our teacher. Kalamas, when you yourselves know these things are good, these things are not blamable, these things are praised by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to benefit and happiness. Enter on and abide in them. Ah, do I read the absence of greed, hate too?
Yeah, so this is the same thing, but it is the other side of the rejection, right? Okay. So, okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
So I'll read, okay. Absence of greed, hate, and delusion. What do you think, Kalamas? Does absence of greed appear in a man for his benefit or harm? For his benefit, venerable sir, Kalamas, being not given to greed, and being not overwhelmed and not vanquished mentally by greed, this man does not take life, does not steal, does not commit adultery, does not tell lies. He prompts another to do likewise. Will that belong for his benefit and happiness? Yes, venerable sir. 12. What do you think, Kalamas? Does the absence of it appear in a man for his benefit or harm? For his benefit, venerable sir, Kalamas, not being not given to hate and being not overwhelmed or not vanquished mentally by hate, this man does not take life, does not steal, does not commit adultery, and does not tell lies. He prompts others to do likewise. Will that belong for his benefit and happiness? Yes, venerable sir. The 13th. What do you think, Kalamas? Does absence of delusion appear in a man for his benefit or harm? For his benefit, venerable sir, Kalamas, being not given to delusion and being not overwhelmed and not vanquished mentally by delusion. This man does not take life, does not steal, does not commit adultery, and does not tell lies. He prompts another to do likewise. Will that belong for his benefit and happiness? Yes, venerable sir. Number 14. What do you think, Kalamas? Are these things good and bad? Good, venerable sir. Blamable or not blamable? Not blamable, venerable sir. Censured or praised by the wise? Praised, venerable sir. Undertaken and observed? Do these things lead to benefit to happiness or not? Or how does it strike you? Undertaken and observed, these things lead to benefit and happiness. Does it strike us here? 15. Therefore did we say, Kalamas, what was said thus, come, Kalamas, do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing, nor upon tradition, nor upon rumor, nor upon what is in the scripture, not upon surmise, nor upon an action, nor upon specious reasoning, nor upon a bias towards a notion that has been pondered over, nor upon another seeming ability, nor upon the consideration. The monk is our teacher. Kalamas, when we yourselves know, these things are good, these things are not blamable, these things are praised by the wise, undertaken and observed, these things lead to benefit and happiness, enter on and abide in them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Princess. Over here, it's like a legal document, isn't it? It's all in detail, like we don't, even though it is repeated, that's how the legal documents are, you know, um, done. And so everything is also repeated many times. And if you actually can get the gist of this whole thing, it's like observing the precepts and then also like thinking of this unwholesome and unwholesome roots like greed, hate, and delusion, and the opposite of it. And also, like then we have this thing: do not go upon what has been required by repeated hearing, and this thing also is repeated. So we can easily summarize this, and this small document can be very helpful for the Buddhist charter of free will. So I would stop here actually, and you can use this in your discussion later on also. And over here later on, the Buddha also discusses about four exalted dwellings, what we call Brahma Viharas, like Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha, and they are also explained here in this powerful sutta. And at the end of the sutta, the Kalamas say here, marvelous, venerable sir, marvelous, venerable sir. As if venerable sir, a person were to turn face upward, what is upside down, or to uncover the concealed, or to point the way to one who is lost, or to carry a lamp in the darkness, thinking those who have eyes will um, see visible objects. So has the Dhamma been set forth in many ways by the Blessed One. We, venerables, go to the Blessed One for refuge. Go to the Dhamma for refuge. Go to the Sangha or community of bhikkhus for refuge. Venerable sir, may the Blessed One regard us as lay followers who have gone for refuge for life from today. So again, this last paragraph is repeated in so many suttas. People come to the Buddha, maybe some people actually come to learn about the Dhamma, some people come to argue with him, some people, people come in different ways to talk about discuss about with the Buddha, and then eventually many of them have turned his followers. Some of them wanted to actually become, ordained, and some of them want to become like lifelong, followers of the Buddha. This again is another part of the teaching. Okay. So why this repetition in Buddhist texts? That also is because there were those days they didn't have writing systems, So they all learn things by heart. Most of those teachings were learned by the heart. And even today, there are many monks who could learn the entire Tipitaka by heart. In Myanmar, there are some monks. They are actually very wonderful. They are called Tipitaka Dhara monks. I have met 4 of them before, and they only work on learning the Dhamma, learning the entire Tipitaka by heart, and so repeating the same thing, when it is repeated, it's easier for them to learn. And now, when we want to, in modern days, we don't want to repeat the whole thing. So we want shortcuts all the time. I remember there was one person actually who came to the Buddha. He also asked the Buddha, can you give me a shortcut to Nibbana, a shortcut to enlightenment? So the Buddha said, okay, the shortcut to enlightenment is to take care of the 5 senses. If you take care of the 5 senses, that will be your shortcut to Nibbana. And yeah, it really worked for him too. So a lot of people today, we actually want like short summaries, concise things, but those days it was not like that. One reason, because they had to learn things by heart. So repeatedly, they have to repeat it all the time. Yeah, that's why we see in many of the Pali canons, Pali discourses, we see those repeated. All right. So, what do you think of Kalama Sutta? Can how do we have you also met some people like that? Oh, you had some situations like that. You had to really, you were like you didn't know how to, what to accept. Jojo?
I think the Kalama Sutra is one of my favorites because I know I can be a little bit stubborn, and I don't like people telling me that I have to do something a certain way and I have to follow certain rules. I like to be the independent person that I am. And this one, when he just gives you the total freedom, then there's no resistance. And it's a very loving and generous feeling that you get. And then you want to really try harder because nobody is forcing you to do it. It's on your own.
Yeah. I really like once the Buddha said, you can even question me, So, and also you have the potential to become a Buddha, every one of you. That's like so amazing. Like you don't have to believe just like that, you know. So when you said yesterday about the elephants and the blind, it's also actually goes to the deeper meaning of the Dhamma. So sometimes bits and pieces of Dhamma, we try to define it as the full form, but it is not. So you have to really take a deep dive into the Dhamma. Last time, I don't know if I'd say that. So once Venerable Ashok when he went to Nalanda University, I think Chris was talking about Nalanda University, right? Yesterday. Buddhism in Asia. So Nalanda University was a very famous university where over 12,000 scholarly monks were learning. And even today, when we go there, we can see like some of those laboratories. Still, we can see the remnants. And so this monk, he went there, and then it is said he wanted to join the university, and then the person at the front desk, just came up with a bowl of water, and bowl of water. He didn't say a word. He just showed the bowl of water to him. And then the monk, he didn't have many things. The monks usually don't have so many things. They are very kind of minimalistic lifestyle. But he had one thing very important. He took that out and put it inside. That was a needle. He took the needle out of his bowl, and then he put that into the water bowl. So the person was taking that inside, and came back after a while, and he said, "Okay, you are selected. Uh, you passed the entrance exam." That was like what does it mean? They didn't say a word, both of them didn't say a word. The person at the university just showed a bowl of water, and this monk also just put a needle into that. What does it mean?
Can I try to answer that, Bhante?
Yes?
The man gave him something and he returned the only thing that he had to give, and he gave it wholeheartedly. So that's what I saw from that.
Okay. I would say like Kyra and Jason. You don't say a word now. Because I told you before. I would like to ask the other people, what do you think? I would like to hear from you too. I think Julie also was there. Okay, yes. There was a water ball and there was the needle. What was the connection?
Would it have to do with the direction of north?
Direction of north?
Yeah, if you put a needle into the water, it'll spin until it hits true north. I think.
I see. Okay. Any other idea? Any other opinion? That's very wonderful, like in the past they had such a very advanced system to test someone's aptitude. That was the placement test for them. Not hours of writing, just a simple, act where you can really match your wisdom. Okay. Maybe Jason or Kyra or Julie, you want to answer? Do you remember the answer?
If I remember correctly, the importance of the needle is that for monastics, if you have a needle, you're able to mend your own clothing, you're able to resew your garments. It's actually a very important object for a monastic to have. And it's one of the very few that they do carry with them. So in giving up that item and giving that object, it is actually a significant showing of, well, it's almost kind of like a sacrifice in a way.
Okay. Jason?
I think, yeah, I mean, I remember now that she said that I can't remember what I did then. The needle, that you can mend your own stuff. That's all that I remember.
Julie?
I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. I kind of agree with Kyra about the needle, and then it's very important to the monastic for the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mending the rope, right? Actually, the water bowl, when the monk, at the front desk, when he brought the water bowl, he was symbolically suggesting, hey, this is not a normal place. This is like an ocean of knowledge, very, very deep fathom is there. You really can't come here just like that, asking for entrance. You don't have admission just like that. He didn't say a word, but that was the symbolically suggestion. And then the monk, he took the needle out and he put it there. He said, hey, I'm not like here, just like that. I have the capacity to go right to the depth, to the depth of the wisdom, the ocean of knowledge. That's why I am here. So he passed the test. That was his entrance exam. Similarly, when Bhante Buddha Ghosha, when he went to Mahavihara in Sri Lanka, he also said, can I use the library? Can I study here? And the monk said again, you can just study here. You have to show your aptitude. And they gave him one stanza, one Pali stanza. And they asked him to, explain, clarify this Pali stanza. So he came back after a while. It was like a thesis. It was like a PhD dissertation. That was the whole Visuddhi Marga. He covered the entire Buddhist philosophy into that. Sila Samadhi Panya into that. And he explained everything in detail. Ever since, from 5th century AD, that was the most voluminous, most comprehensive treatise on Buddhist meditation in Theravada tradition. It's amazing. And then he was admitted to the Mahavihara. They were very famous universities those days. So what I mean to say here, those that freedom, the wisdom, they were very integral part of Buddhism too. We all have that. We all have that freedom. You can question. You don't have to blindly follow anything. There are actually a lot of in organized religion, you have to follow this. So maybe some rituals, some this and that, you have some criteria to follow. But in Kalama Sutta, the Buddha actually gives us such a wonderful freedom. As Jojo rightly said, you don't want to be restricted. You could actually question anything. Like, for example, when the children come to our temples, they ask many questions. Like those children who are born here, they are very inquisitive. They ask questions. But those traditional Buddhists, they don't ask questions. They just follow the trend. That's how it happens. So the children, one time, a little kid asked, why do we have to bow to the Buddha? Why do we have to bow? And why do we offer flowers? They had so many questions. I really like to, open up with such kids because they are very open. They are very kind of brave also in doing that. So yeah, we have to, we have to ask. We have to question. Is it really helping? And why do we do these things? Chanting or even meditation or what all many kinds of things are there, and we could question it. That analysis, that open mindedness, and that capacity to criticize constructively can be actually the opening of our Dhamma, opening the wisdom. That is something that we can learn from what do you call Karama Sutta. So let's go to another sutta now. The other sutta Yes, Parabhava Sutta. So in Kalama Sutta, this is the thing that we need to really focus in this sutta. This is just like the quintessential essence of the sutta. It's proper for you Kalamas to doubt, to be uncertain. Uncertainty has arising in you about what is doubtful. Come, Kalamas, do not go upon repeated hearing, tradition, rumor, scripture, surmise, action, spaces reading, reasoning, bias towards pondering, a pondered notion, another seeming ability. The consideration, the monk is our teacher. You don't have to. You don't have to follow everything just like that. You have to really open up. Alamas, when you yourself know these things are bad, these things are blamable, these things are censured by the wise, uncertain and observed, these things lead to harm and ill, then you can abandon them. So really wonderful. Okay. And let's go to the other sutta then, Parabhava Sutta. Anyone wants to read Parabhava Sutta?
Bhante, can you explain what the para means in front of bhava?
Oh, Parabhava means downfall. Parabhava means downfall. Okay. Okay. Any volunteers?
I can read Bante.
Okay. 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 This. All right. From here, please.
Thus have I heard. Once the Exalted One was dwelling at Anathapindika's monastery in the Jeta Grove near Savatthi. Now, when the night was far spent, a certain deity whose surpassing splendor illuminated the entire Jeta Grove came to the presence of the Exalted One and, drawing near, respectfully saluted him and stood at one side. Standing thus, he addressed the Exalted One in verse. The deity, having come here with our questions to the Exalted One, we ask thee, O Gautama, about man's decline. Pray, tell us the cause of downfall. The Buddha, easily known as the progressive one, easily known he who declines. He who loves Dhamma progresses, he who is averse to it declines. The deity, thus much do we see. This is the first cause of one's downfall. Pray, tell us the second cause. The Buddha, the wicked are dear to him. With the virtuous he finds no delight. He prefers the creed of the wicked. This is a cause of one's downfall. Being fond of sleep, fond of company, indolent, lazy, and irritable, this is a cause of one's downfall. Though being well-to-do, not to support father and mother who are old and past their youth, this is the cause of one's downfall. To deceive by falsehood a Brahmin or ascetic or any other mendicant, this is a cause of one's downfall. To have much wealth and ample gold and food, but to enjoy one's luxuries alone, this is a cause of one's downfall. To be proud of birth, of wealth or clan, and to despise one's own kinsmen, this is a cause of downfall. To be a rake, a drunkard, a gambler, and to squander all one earns, This is a cause of one's downfall. Not to be contented with one's own wife, and to be seen with harlots and the wives of others, this is a cause of one's downfall. Being past one's youth, to take a young wife and to be unable to sleep for jealousy of her, this is a cause of one's downfall. To place in authority a woman given to drink and squandering, or a man of a like behavior, this is a cause of one's downfall. To be of noble birth, with vast ambition and of slender means, and to crave for rulership, this is a cause of one's downfall. Knowing well these causes of downfall in the world, the noble sage endowed with insight shares a happy realm.
Thank you. So again, we do have another wonderful discussion here. Some really, really useful and helpful. Like even though this was not a human being that asked this question from the Buddha, but it's really more applicable to humans, I guess. You can also see many times like the devas or these deities, they used to come to the Buddha in the middle of the night. They would come sometime illuminating the entire Jetagro monastery, and they would come and talk to the Buddha. Sometimes we don't know what language they speak, spoke actually, but it could also be maybe they didn't say a word, just maybe they probably discussing their own psychic ways, maybe, you know. Sometimes I feel like that. They were like sitting silently and telepathically, communicating. That could also be a reason. I mean, a case. Um, we don't know. Somehow, many a times, so many deities came to the Buddha, asked so many questions from him, and then Buddha spent quite a lot of time in discussing with the Devas and the Brahma. So that particular time was dedicated to them in the middle of the night. Devas and Brahmas, those celestial beings used to come and discuss with him. So over here, we can see, let me actually share it in my, this is a short sutta, but we can see very helpful things in, dealing with the declining path and the progressive path. So the progressive one, easily known, and the progressive one loves the Dhamma. So Dhamma, what is Dhamma here? Dhamma can be truth, Dhamma can be the nature, Dhamma can be the universal law, Dhamma can be something, it's such a multi-meaningful word. You can't really give a definite answer to Dhamma. But Dhamma can be like maybe like everything. Dhamma is such a very powerful word here. So it's better not to give a particular translation to this word. Dhamma in Pali, Dharma in Sanskrit. So depending on the context, the meaning can change. So the person, the progressive one, can be known easily, that person, no matter what religious background or what cultural background that person, belongs to, but yet those people still loves the Dhamma. That's what I also learned, like as a Buddhist monk, from a Theravada country. I also would like to really open up myself to learn from anyone, and so too I have met so many people from all different kinds perspectives and how they are also very open-hearted, very open-minded, very flexible. kind of people to learn the Dhamma. And these are like progressive paths. And also declining one, easily known. You can easily know the declining one. And such people don't like the Dhamma, and they also decline. And then we can see cause of downfall, prefers the wicked and finds no delight with the virtuous, follows the creed of the wicked, fond of sleep and company, indolent, lazy, irritable, and well-to-do but fails to support elderly parents. These are actually already signs of downfall. These little things maybe can also be applied to the human rights. So we need to actually find a way to apply to the human rights. That is the other thing. So in the modern context, they probably don't fit the whole thing, but we can see some of those things like very precious gems from here. Then the causes of downfall here, deceived by falsehood, a Brahmin, ascetic, or any mendicant, and possesses wealth and luxury, but enjoys them alone. So that's actually definitely a sign of downfall. No matter how much you have, if you are very selfish and you don't want to, help others, doesn't really make sense. So in Buddhism, if you are good in earning, if you are good in doing business, it's perfectly all right for you to do a good business, virtuous business. But when you have more money, that means when you have more wealth, that means you should be able to share with the others. That's very important. And also in the other one, supporting the elderly parents, for example. Sometimes people, when they grow, when they, the poor parents are mostly confined to the elder care or, like refugee camp or whatever. So in the Buddhist tradition, you have to really take care of those elderly parents. That's very much an integral part of, again, Buddhist teachings. Buddha said, if you take care of the parents, it's like you are taking care of the Buddha himself. And Buddha has given so much prominence or priority to the parents all the time. And the downfall here, possess wealth and luxury, but enjoys them alone, and proud of birth and wealth and clan, despises own kinsmen. Like I mentioned before, Attukkansana and Paravambana, these are two Pali words. Attukkansana means you valorize yourself, you highlight yourself all the time, you want to elevate yourself all the time with very selfish motive, and then also despises other. And Paravambana means you suppress the others, you don't want to appreciate others. That's again symptom of downfall. And again, downfall, we can easily see drunkard, gambler, squandering. These are part of the downfall. And discontented with own wife, seen with harlots and wives of others. That can definitely be disastrous. And takes a young wife in old age, unable to sleep due to jealousy. That's a very funny way, but I think that could also psychologically happen. If you are too old and you are bringing too young, a wife, then you will also find it difficult. So the Buddha said they are also like symptoms of downfall. Having said that, if there is a very wonderful person. There could be like age gap. I've seen some actually, but they are also living very harmonious life, then it's fine. But just in case you can't sleep because of jealousy or something, or she can't talk to others, then you will always be overprotective, and that could be a troublemaking situation. So this, jealousy is again pretty integral to such people. And then causes of downfall, places authority in a woman. It's not only woman, a man or a woman, given to drink and squandering. Such people, if you appoint them as your CEO or company director or something, then the company will be declined. Then noble birth with vast ambition, slender means, and craves rulership. These are symptoms of downfall. So in the Parabhava Sutta, we have quite a number of symptoms like that. Very amazing. What do you think? Do you have anything? Jojo, you have to say something?
Yeah, I was wondering who did the translation on that?
The translation actually was done by Narada Thera. He was a Sri Lankan monk.
The reason that I was wondering about it was because in my copy on Faustball, he actually is a little bit more direct, and he calls them the winner and the loser. So he uses the term loser, and I'm wondering if there was a translation for that you might go with as opposed to the other one that you were using.
Yeah, this is there's another translation by Bhante Piyadasi. Let's see what he says here. Progressive one. Where did you find winner or loser?
It's in V Faustball.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, winner or loser. Well,
He says the winner is easily known. Easily known is also the loser. He who loves Dhamma is the winner. He who hates Dhamma is the loser.
yeah, that's how he interprets life. But when you talk about like downfall, parabhava means downfall. Like yeah, probably it could also be okay to say that, like winner or loser. Um, I think depending on the context, that could be applied. In some context, it should be okay to apply winner or loser to. Okay. Any comments?
I think it's very practical advice. Most of what the Buddha says in the sutra. And I find it interesting when the Buddha gives advice about like just mundane life, like about just interpersonal relationships, how you should still try to look for what is wholesome and what is unwholesome in those situations.
Yeah, it's uh, it's so practical too, right? Like even in today's context, they are so wonderful. Like some of those teachings. So that's why it is called Parabhava Sutta. And there are quite a few suttas. Like there's another sutta called Vyaggapadya Sutta. And let's go to the other sutta called Vasala Sutta. Anyone wants to read that sutta? Vasala Sutta. Okay. This is also called Vasetta Samyutta Nikaya, the Sutta Nikaya. Any volunteer?
I can read.
Okay.
All right. Vasala Sutta. Thus I have heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was living near Savatthi at Jetavana at Atipitika's monastery. There, in the forenoon, the Blessed One having dressed himself, took bowl and double robe, and entered the city of Savatthi for alms. Now at the time, a fire was burning, and an offering was being prepared in the house of the Brahmin. Oh goodness. Agi, Agi,
Advaita Bharadwaja.
thank you. Then the Blessed One, while on his alms round, came to the Brahma's residence. The Brahmin, seeing the Blessed One some ways off, said this, "Stay there, you shaveling. Stay there, you wretched monk. Stay there, you outcast." When he spoke thus, the Blessed One said to the Brahmin, "Do you know, Brahmin, who an outcast is, and what the conditions are that make an outcast?" "No, indeed, Venerable Gautama, I do not know what an outcast is, nor the conditions that make an outcast. It is good if Venerable Gautama were to explain the Dharma to me, so that I may know who an outcast is and what the conditions are that make an outcast." "Listen then, Brahmin, and pay attention. I will speak." "Yes, Venerable Sir," replied the Brahmin. 1. Whoever is angry, harbors hatred, and is reluctant to speak well of others, discredits the good of others, perverted in views, deceitful, know him as an outcast. 2. Whosoever in this world kills living beings, once born or twice born, in whom there is no sympathy for living beings, know him as an outcast. 3. Whosoever destroys and besieges villages and hamlets, and becomes notorious as an oppressor, know him as an outcast. 4. Be it in the village or in the forest, whoever steals what belongs to others, what is not given to him, know him as an outcast. 5. Whoever having actually incurred a debt runs away when he is pressed to pay, saying, "I owe no debt to you," know him as an outcast. 6. Whoever, coveting anything, kills a person going along the road and grabs whatever that person has, know him as an outcast. 7. He who, for his own sake and for the sake of others, or for the sake of wealth, utters lies when questioned as a witness, know him as an outcast. 8. Whosoever, by force or with consent, associates with the wives of relatives or friends, know him as an outcast. 9. Whosoever, being wealthy, supports not his mother and father, who have grown old, know him as an outcast. 10. Whosoever strikes and annoys by harsh speech mother, father, brother, sister, or mother-in-law or father-in-law, know him as an outcast. 11. Whosoever, when questioned about what is good, says what is detrimental, and talks in an evasive manner, know him as an outcast. 12. Whosoever, having committed an evil deed, wishes that it may not be known to others and commits evil in secret, know him as an outcast. 13. Whosoever, having gone to another's house and partaken of choice food, does not honor that host by offering food when he repays the visit, know him as an outcast. 14. Whosoever deceives by uttering lies, a Brahmin or ascetic, or any other mendicant, know him as an outcast. 15. Whosoever, when a Brahmin or ascetic appears during mealtime, angers him by harsh speech, and does not offer him any alms, know him as an outcast. 16. Whosoever in this world, shrouded in ignorance, speaks harsh words, asatam, or falsehood, expecting to gain something, know him as an outcast. 17. Whosoever, debased by his pride, exalts himself and belittles others, know him as an outcast. 18. Whosoever is given to anger, is miserly, has base desires, and is selfish, deceitful, shameless, and fearless in doing evil, know him as an outcast. 19. Whosoever reviles the enlightened one, the Buddha, or a disciple of the Buddha, recluse or a householder, know him as an outcast. 20. Whosoever, not being an arahant, a consummate one, pretends to be so, is a thief in the whole universe. He is the lowest of outcasts. 21. Not by birth is one an outcast, not by birth is one a Brahmin. By deed one becomes an outcast, by deed one becomes a Brahmin. 22. Know ye by the example I now cite, the fact that by birth one is not an outcast. There was an outcast son, Sopaka, who became known as Matanga. 23. This Matanga attained the highest fame, so difficult to gain. Many were the warriors, Kishitas, and Brahmas who went to attend on him. 24. Mounting the celestial chariot, the noble eightfold path, the driving, along the passion-free high road, Sopaka, now a monk, reached the Brahma realm, having given up sense desires. 25. His lowly birth did not prevent him from being reborn in the Brahmin realm. There are Brahmins born in the family of preceptors, kingsmen of Veda hymns. 26. They are often seen committing evil deeds. In this life itself, they are despised. In the next, they are born in an evil state of existence. High birth does not prevent them from falling into a woeful state, or from censure. 27. Not by birth is one an outcast. Not by birth is one a Brahmin. By deed one becomes an outcast. By deed one becomes a Brahmin. When the Buddha had thus spoken, the Brahmin Agika Bharavija said to the Blessed One, "Excellent, O Venerable Gotama, excellent. Just as, O Venerable Gotama, a man were to set upright what had been overturned, or were to reveal what had been hidden, or were to point the way to one who has gone astray, or were to hold an oil lamp in the dark so that those with eyes may see things. Even so, in many ways has the Venerable Gotama expounded the Dhamma, the doctrine. I take refuge in the Venerable Gotama, the Dharma, the Sangha, the order. May the Venerable Gotama accept me as a lay follower who has taken refuge from this day onwards while life lasts."
Thank you so much. This is Again, you can see the last part again, right? You already see the repetition of the same. So it's so if we remember that part, so we can easily recognize when it comes to another. That's why, like we as Buddhist monks, when we were learning things by heart, it was so easier for us to, learn the other suttas as well. We see a lot of repetition. By the way, we do have 27 stanzas. Which one is your favorite here? Did you find any particular statement more convincing or more impressive to you?
Personally, I think that from a historical context, the most powerful statement is that birth alone does not define whether or not a person would be defined as an outcast. Because during that time, the hierarchy that had been established by India would establish who you are by who you were born to. So that's very powerful.
That definitely is. Not by birth is one and a caste. Not by birth is one a Brahmin. But by deed one becomes an outcast. By deed one becomes a Brahman. And the Buddha here actually proves the fact that Sopaka, being born into a low caste family, an outcast family, in fact, a little son, and Buddha helped him, and he was born in the Brahma realm. So usually the Brahman people, they thought only they can be born in the Brahma realm. So these are the things that the Buddha was challenging the very system. It was a upstream journey, running against the trend. It was not easy. You could have lot of pressure from the opposite side, but yet the Buddha did not. He he vehemently criticized those things. And there was one occasion actually in Chullakamma Vibhanga Sutta. Actually, the Buddha talks about one Brahman, and his son thought his father was born in Brahmarayam because he was a Brahman. And then the Buddha said actually he became a little puppy at his own home. He became a dog. And he was very, very angry that time. And then the Buddha, he came to the temple to ask the Buddha, why did you insult my father? He can't be born in a lower realm like that. Then the Buddha said, you know what, you should one day give a good shower to your puppy, and also give him good food, feed him well, and then ask him, dear father, where is the hidden treasure that you didn't show me before? And then Buddha has never been to his home. So the young man was shown the hidden treasure by the puppy, and so he started to believe what the Buddha said was true. And then he came back and asked about the karma, the whole discussion of the karma, why some people are born good, and some people are very wise, some people are good looking, some people are bad looking, some are rich, some are poor, some are like very stupid, some people are very wise. Why is this difference? So Buddha gives the answer. Um, it's a really nice sutta to Chulla Kamma Vibhanga Sutta. Buddha talks about the karma. Someone's own karma can make him a different man. So by birth, one can be an outcast or a Brahman. In Dhammapada also the dedicate one whole chapter to this teaching. Okay. Yeah, that's about Vasala Sutta or Vasetta Sutta. So quickly wrapping it up, anger and hatred, violence and dishonesty, and immorality, and then disrespect, and pride and arrogance, and then virtuous deeds and righteous conduct, um, and then the moral integrity and humility and wisdom. So these are some of the things that we can learn here as the Brahman practice. Buddha said, you can be a Brahman, okay, but you have to be a real good one if you want to call yourself a Brahman. That's why he was actually he wanted to actually make them real good Brahmins. He said, okay, if you want to really be a really good Brahmin, you have to really act like a real good Brahmin, not by just birth itself. You can be called a Brahmin. You have to really show yourself a Brahmin. That's the Buddha's teaching here. Okay, so I think let's take a break and we'll see you in 15 minutes. With the other section now, this is going to be another interesting topic, Buddhist perspective on language and gender. So language, the Buddha said, if you want to teach the Dhamma, you can teach in your own local language. Sakaya Nirutti, it is said, like your own language, native language. So if you are an American, you can teach the Dhamma in American languages. And if you are in India, maybe Indian language. If you are a Sri Lankan language. So we do have, again, the luxury to teach, to preach, to learn through our own language. I think that also is very, very important. Having said that, we also have the Dhamma written in different languages. For example, Theravada Buddhism is recorded in Pali language, which is not a very active live language like the other languages, but yet it is also vastly used in Theravada Buddhist countries for chanting, particularly in chanting. And also like over time when language is usually, over time it changes its connotation. But the Pali language, as it is not so vastly used and it doesn't undergo many changes like the other languages. So it's very, very helpful that we have the recording of the Tipitaka in Pali. Same thing in Sanskrit. Entire Tipitaka, along with the commentaries, sub-commentaries, sub-commentaries, everything has been recorded in Pali language. And then also Sanskrit was used as the medium of instruction in Mahayana tradition. So we don't have the entire Buddhist records in Sanskrit. We do have some partly, but also have been translated into Chinese and Korean, Japanese, other languages. Mahayana Buddhism is more active. So that's also a luxury. They can teach the Dhamma in their own language. And then also having that, teaching preserved in a very different language can also be a benefit. Plus point, I guess. And so I don't want to go too much into language, but I think gender can be an interesting point to discuss. Oh. So over here, gender refers to the state of being male or female, with emphasis on social and cultural distinctions rather than biological ones, according to Oxford Dictionary. So we can see here male, female as the main categories. But we also have neuter gender, and from the ancient past, we also had people who can be called like man or woman. And during the Vedic period, people also worshipped the mother goddess and regarded womanhood as a symbol of prosperity. So the mother, motherly figure is very, very important. We say mother tongue, we say motherland. Mother is such a very, very powerful term. Although, like we could see, like male dominance in many parts of the world, but they still see the some of those terms like mother and mother country or mother tongue, something very unique. So even in Buddha's qualities, we can see the motherly nature in some qualities like compassion, kindness, and these are like more motherly than fatherly. Sometimes we can see like the artists when they try to define or try to construct the Buddha image, when they kind of merge the two qualities, Buddha mother or Buddha father. We could see both of them in many Buddha statues too. Interesting, right? So, although during Vedic periods, like though the women's role was very kind of suppressed, and so they recognized the vital role of women in the survival and continuation of the human race. And in that case, they had some respect. Vedic texts also contain hymns composed by women. That means they also had some kind of right to education and participation in religious activities. So these Vedic periods in Vedas, we have like Rig, Yajur, Saman, and Atharvan, the four Vedas. Basically, the three Vedas are more important: Rig, Yajur, and Saman. And Atharvan Veda came lately. And before that, the pre-Vedic, like the Upanishad, like it's very close to some Buddhist teachings too, and they were very powerful. And later on, more organized kind of religion came into being, and people were assigned different roles, different duties. People were interpreted differently, and caste system and all they came into being. So it came totally a different scenario lately. And within that, during that time, the Buddha emerged. So this period, the Vedic period, can be considered more egalitarian and favorable for both genders. And on the contrary, the law of Manu, or we call Manu Smriti or Manu Mahasammata, like the Manu also like Manusa or human being. That's according to that book. He was the first man, like Adam, you know. And so there are contrasting views to those of the Vedic period. So Vedic period has more positive signs for women. Then the Brahmanic views, we can see varying perspectives again. So Brahmins held a negative perception of women, deeming them sinful and assigning them the lowest position in society. That really was very kind of dark age era for women. They systematically eroded the honorable and divine status the women enjoyed during the Vedic period. And you can see in many cases like how the women were portrayed as objects of just temptation, or even sometimes they were compared to just devil. So they also interpreted like women lacked intelligence, and they also did not respect their ideas, and it was very much androcentric society where women were relegated to the corner of the house, the dark corner of the house. And many cases, like some other castes, like outcasts or downcast or low caste women, they were not even able to show their face. They go out. They had to cover their face. That was kind of by law. They had to do that. It was such um, unfortunate situation for women. So they were just like tools to gratify the men's of their sexual desires. That was so. Um, that was the case during that time, the Brahmanic perspective, and then we also have Jain, uh, who actually followed very extreme non-violent movement. Jainism treats women based on the same ethical code as men, but opinions differ between the two main sects, like Digambara and Svetambara. Digambara means they did not wear clothes; they were naked. And Svetambara Jains, that section of Jainism, they used to wear white clothes. So Jainism prohibits women from appearing naked, and therefore some followers consider women inherently inferior. So this debate, this situation for women went on for many generations, and then Christianity viewpoint on gender. We have Roman Catholicism permits women to become nuns, but when selecting his 12 apostles, Jesus chose only men, despite having many women disciples during his lifetime. There were still some situations where they were not having a chance. I think lately you've seen like Mother Teresa, for example, she was promoted to a saint. I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was the only female figure that I remember being highlighted and very well respected by the Catholic Church. And then Islam's perspective on women's status. The Quran addresses gender roles, stating that husbands are the protectors and maintainers of their wives. It emphasizes obedience from women and advises disciplinary measures, including light beating in cases of suspected disloyalty. In some extreme cases, we could also see like they were stoned to death, and they also had kind of similar situation in some cases, like in the Brahmin perspectives, like the downcast, outcast people, the women always completely cover themselves when they go out. That in some Islamic countries, by law that they have to follow this. So Islam provides separate prayer areas even for women in mosque, but at least they can even go to mosque, but somehow they are often deprived. In nowadays, a lot of women, even in Islam, they do work on their own educational rights. We do have very educated Islam women. For example, there is one young girl, Malala. What's her name? Malala. Right? A very young girl. She was fighting for women's education. And that time they said she was in Afghanistan or Pakistan. And then she was shot on the head, and luckily she did not die. But by that time she was already posting her women education, campaign through online. So she was kind of gaining popularity already. And luckily she was rescued by some Western countries. I hope she's in Canada right now. She also won Nobel Peace Prize. There are some cases where still women are not given equal rights in Islam. And then Shinto's view, we can say Shintoism grants women the same rights as men and allows women to lead prayers and rituals and priestesses. The most revered Shinto goddess is Amitarasu, the son of goddess, the sun goddess. Then Buddhist attitude related to gender. We have quite a few suttas. Dhitu Sutta. Dhitu means daughter. Interesting sutta. You need to read that. Kundalakesi Jataka also is a very interesting Jataka tale. Where it said, Itipi Pandita Honti Tatta Tatta Vichakana, like the women can also be very wise. And Satta Bharya means 7 types of wives. Interesting Sitta again. And then Itti Bandhana Sutta. These are some of the suttas we can directly relate to women's. Over here, as I mentioned, attitude relating to gender. So, Ithipi Eka Ithipi Ekachuya Seya Posa Janadhipa Medhavini Silavati Satsudeva Patibhata Tasayo Jayati Poso Suru note disampati evam subhagiya putro rajyampi anusasati. A woman child, O Lord of men, may prove even better offspring than a male, for she may grow up wise and virtuous, respects husband's mother and father, and be a true wife. The son that she may bear may do great deeds and rule great realms. Yes, such a son of noble wife become his country's noble guide. So this actually highlight the fact that we have very different perspective Buddhism regarding women, and also King Prasenadi Kosala, when he was grieving about Queen Mallika had given birth to a daughter. That time he came to the Buddha, and actually he was very upset. And he said to the Buddha that Queen Mallika gave birth to a daughter, and the Buddha said, yeah, a female offspring, O king, may prove even nobler than a male. So that time only he was, he was able to console himself. When Buddha said, Buddha verified, and Buddha stood by the side of the daughter that time, and that's really very interesting. Even to the kings, he was able to convince the true nature of humanity. So he said, "Tipi pandita honti tatta tatta vichakana," the same meaning here. And in Kundalakesi Jataka, we can see Naso sabbe sutani supuriso hoti pandito itipi pandita honti tatta tatta vichakana. So not everywhere the women or the men are wise. And itipi pandita means even the woman can be wise. Tatta tatta vichakana. Wherever they are also discerning. So this is another highlight in Buddhism, that wisdom is not restricted to gender, can be found anywhere, regardless of their gender. So Buddhist attitudes relating to gender, again, we can see like women regarded as intelligent, virtuous, and good wives. We can see here in Sattabhariya Sutta, the Matubhariya is wife like a mother. So I think it is like motherly like wife. Bhagini Bharya is, this wife is like a young sister. Sakhi Bharya means there are some wives who are like friends. And Dasi Bharya, there are some wives who are like servants. So different attitudes, different temperaments, different virtues of women. This is very much the case. I think even today we can find some wives are like the mother to husband, maybe a young sister to husband, maybe a really wonderful friend. Maybe just like a servant, she will do everything for the husband. So these are also like some of the qualities that they have. So maybe you can take a look at these suttas later on to learn more about the women and Buddhist perspective on women. Okay. So actually that was a little shorter one. I wanted to come back to our discussion. Looks like we have only very few people left. Okay. So we do have a group discussion. Do you think we can do it today? Yes. So can you please go to the Google Classroom? Actually made, I guess it is 5 groups. Yeah, 5 groups, I know. So over here, Kalama Sutta, Parabhava Sutta, and so Buddhism and human rights. And yeah, Buddhism and gender identity. How many groups can we make here? We have 14, 12, 13. Maybe we can make 4 groups, right? Instead of 5. Okay. So let me which one? Human rights, Karama Sutta Prabhat, Buddhism and human rights. Maybe 1, 2, 3, and 5. How about that? Okay.
What do you mean 1, 2, 3, and 5, Bunty? I don't understand that.
We have 4 groups then. Can you see the Google Classroom? Can you see group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay.
Yes.
So yes. So let's make 4 groups here, and depending on the group, I'm going to make rooms here, and so you will be separated. You will have to discuss with each other. Okay, probably 3 people will be in one group. Can I make rooms here? We could, right? Previously, I remember we were doing it. Anyone who is Chris, do you know about that? We can make rooms here.
Yeah, you should be able to. Trying to find out which topic it's under. I haven't used Zoom much.
Banti, how many rooms we need?
We need 4 rooms. You can make?
4 rooms. I'm doing it.
Okay.
4 rooms.
Yeah, make 4 rooms. And so when you make 4 rooms, it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So all right, you can see here. Doing room 4. So you will be discussing about those topics. Okay, open the link and discuss the topic in maybe 15 minutes. Gabriel, can you make me co-host so that I can also sometime?
Suppose you are.
And right, okay. Okay. So it should be able to. I don't know. I was not able to do it.
You are not going to join, right?
I could join, but I think I should. This is the group.
This is the
Which group are you in?
participants 12. But you want to go to a room?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, so just stay there, right? Just stay there.
I don't know.
Don't post about. Excuse me.
Shannon is not here or what? I don't know.
I don't see myself here. I'm not included because I did the room.
You did it wrong. Can you invite yourself?
I don't know why I'm not there.
What about this lady, Shannon? Okay, join, break out. You should be able to join a room that is, because when you made the room, I don't know how to add you to.
I don't know how to include myself.
Let me see.
Oh, search participants. Gabriela.
Found it?
Here, I maybe, you know, maybe because I'm using the link for the class, my name is not registered like that. It's
You are not what?
okay. Let me see if I go to one of the rooms. No,
You can go to any room.
no, because why I cannot include myself?
Join breakout. You have
My name is not there.
Yeah, because maybe it is because you did the room. Okay, anyway, so you can see how many people are there in different rooms? Can you see?
Yeah, there are 3 people. Most.
3 people? Every room has 3 people? Because Shannon is not there, so you are also not there, probably.
Because maybe
So
she didn't click.
she's probably not following us. She is just there. Maybe she is not
there.
He's just open, that's it. But maybe if you can go to any of the rooms where less people are there, then you can discuss. And did you make a timing?
You say 15, right?
Yeah, so did you make 15 minutes in the group? So after 15 minutes, they should come back, right?
No. Never do that before.
Yeah.
I want to go to a room, but I can't. I have to ask. Okay. Let me think.
I don't see that. I don't see that, I can. Previously, I used to do it actually. I could have control. I could go to any room. I could discuss. Yeah, it's different. We have to ask. Now, I hope we can send a message. But luckily, I gave all the instructions in the Google Classroom. So what you can do, Gabriela, you can read the article yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
So
gonna,
you
I'm
read,
gonna read there.
and let's join later then when it
Okay.
comes to.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Okay. Good luck. I was wondering what happened because I couldn't do anything. Thank you anyway. Good to see you all. Hmm. So, like thumbs up those people who have like maybe raise your hand if you were in group 1. Okay. Group 1, 2 people. Okay. All right. You can do the presentation. You can say what you discuss in the group.
Alrighty. So we had the what is it? The Kalama Sutra. And so we discussed it a little bit already earlier in the class. But the idea is that you should make your own choice about whether to believe a speaker. And then our article also included that this is true of political leaders, you know, things that you might see on social media. You should examine these and see, you know, from your own experience, is this wholesome or unwholesome? And then the way to, the reason why something would be considered unwholesome comes from the three poisons of greed, anger, and delusion. So these are things that would lead to causing different types of harm. And then wholesomeness is defined in this sutra as the sutra focuses on the four Brahma Viharas, or the infinite states. So in English, we have the loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and then equanimity. And then a quote that we chose was from the sutra. Don't simply accept something as true because you've heard it repeatedly. It's an ancient tradition. Everyone talks about it. It's written in scriptures. It sounds logical. It fits your existing beliefs. The teacher seems impressive, or the person is your spiritual guide. Instead, use your own wisdom and experience as the ultimate test. And we really liked that aspect of use your own wisdom and experience as the ultimate test. And Julie mentioned in sutras, the Buddha will say, like, be your own lamp or be your own Dhamma.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Julie, do you have any piggyback?
Yeah, and I think the sutras apply to this modern society very well, as far as being a Dharma students or being like in a company or anything. We always have questions. Is this monk is a leader or a monk as a master that we can learn from? Because there's a lot of fake monks out there, you know, and fake leaders and unwholesome people. So as a Dharma practitioner beginner, I think it's important to learn. I wish I learned this sutra way back. So because before I would always say, oh, is this a good master to follow? Is this the right master? How do I know if he's a good master? Because I don't want to waste time. So now by reading this summarized, it's very good, because they'll say like you have to watch the three poisons, and if they accumulated these four merits, like she was mentioning, compassionate and equanimities, loving kindness, you know, like those you have to continuously check and check and check. And then finally, you have to be your own light and be your own teacher, and then ask questions. I really like the sutra.
Thank you, wonderful. Yes, I think we also had more discussions while reading the sutta. All right, so can we go to the group 2? If you were in group 2, please raise your hand. That way, I mean, in the reaction, then you will all be on the top. Group 2 people. Okay. All right. Right. Okay, please go ahead. Explain your experience.
So, good evening to all of you. So, our topic that we've discussed is the contemporary analysis of Buddhist social ethics and human rights. And according to the sutta, wait. I think the sutta really describes what is happening in our society today due to like lack of awareness of what they're doing, or like the ignorance of like this should be the right, but in reality it's causing them a lot of like anguish, especially like there's a lot of like negative attitudes and lack of character building, which leads to like a lot of social issues. And like since the root cause has been like stated in this sutta, now it's due to like the analysis of what's wrong in society, it also suggests the good sides of the sutta, that it has to be applied in the real world and we have to tackle the negative uh social issues that we're dealing with. So in connection with human rights and and for background, and I think I have like a human rights background since I studied international relations. So according to the suggestion that you gave in human rights, like the secular suggestion of rights to education, rights to family, social security, rights to non-discrimination, and all of the listed suggestion, it has to be like Buddhism has to be like heavily integrated in it. Just because like there's a heavy like scientific and at the same time character building that other that is like somehow lacking in the other fields or like type and it has to be like really integrated the Buddhism, especially of loving kindness to right, so it has like a stronger implementation. And at the same time, the people who's reading this like rights, when they read this, oh, I really felt it because like it's heavily implemented. It's not just like on paper. It has to be like heavily implemented because like during my study during my study of like educating myself through education, what I've noticed that in paper it looks good, but like the implementation you haven't felt it because of like many like you know tedious process of like implementing this is really hard. And at the same time the mother of application is that these suggestions has been suggested way before, but what makes it different is that it emphasizes character building and at the same time loving kindness and empathy, which is like there are some advocates for this but they don't have enough character building, that's why it's not implemented well. But when you suggested this in this like all of the in this article, it has a different take on it because like we cannot make real change if we don't genuinely love someone or we do not know the root cause of everything that we are going through at the moment. So I think yeah, that's that, and I would love to like unravel this even more, and it made me inspired to like maybe I should go like do development studies with heavily influence of Buddhism. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we also need to think of, we have like 15 minutes to go. So if you can be little precise, I really appreciate. Jojo, do you want to say something?
Princess, when we were talking, came up with a really good term, and she said it was basically discussing the society ethics. And we actually took it to another level where when you were talking about things that might be lacking in the people in society because they do these things, they're hanging around the wrong people, they're giving into vices, they're doing all the wrong things for a happy life, then how do you fix that? And we were discussing that maybe one of the most important aspects would be to somehow increase the amount of education that doesn't just teach reading, writing, and arithmetic in schools, but would teach kindness, meditation, empathy, and things that will give you a true foundation starting at a very early point in your life where you can more readily accept it and grow with it through the rest of your life instead of waiting until you get spiritually motivated in your 30s or 40s.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jojo. Thank you, Group B. Shall we move to the Group 3 now? Group 3, please raise your hand. Raise your hand in the reaction. That way we know. Okay. All right. Yes. And Venerable Gita. Okay.
Thank you,
Linkage.
Bante.
Yeah.
We discussed about the Buddhism Buddhism and human rights, and convergence of ancient wisdom and modern ethics. We discussed the philosophical alignment between Buddhism and human rights. Although human rights as a formal concept emerged in the West, the Buddhist teaching like Four Noble Truths, compassion, interdependence, and Buddha nature strongly support dignity, equality, and freedom for all. And also historical examples, we discuss about the historical examples, Buddhist engagement in human rights. The figures like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the Dalai Lama, and also Thich Nhat Hanh, they are demonstrated how Buddhist principles can be applied to fight social injustice, promote equality, and support peaceful conflict resolutions. Then and also Buddhist ethical foundation for rights, and the Buddha's teachings such as the 5 precepts, the value of human life, non-violence, and universal responsibility provide the moral like a moral framework that parallels modern right, like the right to life, then the right to life, freedom, education, and equality. And practical applications in contemporary issues. We discuss about that. The Buddhist principles are actively used in areas like environmental protection, refugees support, refugee support, peace buildings, and social justice movement, showing their relevance to the current global challenges. And also we discuss the challenges and future directions. The while Buddhism supports human rights in spirit, I think there are tensions with traditional interpretation, uh, gender equality, and and also implementation in certain societies. Engaged Buddhism continues to bright, it continues to the I think the these gaps through compassionate action and institutional development. Thank you. You mute. Bante.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bante, Vijita, and the
Thank
team.
you, Bante.
We do have one more team left, and I hope you represented the whole group, right? Yeah. Chris or Venerable Yangchup, if you also want to say something shortly.
No, I mean, I just thought of a lot of examples of things that are going on now that that a lot of this applied to. It talked about a lot of things during the civil rights movement in the 1960s and during the Vietnam War, and just made me think of things that are happening now without getting political, that this would certainly apply to also.
All right. Thank you so much. So let's go to the last group. I think group number 4. Please raise your hand. Gabriela, which group you were in? I know you were like on your own. Are you in group 4 or what? Okay. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
So Cameron and I had a great conversation, and we went over an article kind of looking at Buddhism and gender, kind of well, not cross-culturally, but across different traditions. And a couple of the things that we noted that were in particularly stood out was the doctrine of non-self, being anatta, and the fact that gender is a mental construct just like everything else, and because of that, the way that we view gender and gender identity can also be related back to the principle of emptiness in Buddhism. And when you kind of look at that, you realize that gender identity is not nearly as, it doesn't perpetuate existence to the extent that a lot of societal constructs would have it. And then with the middle way and gender expression, kind of building off of that, we looked at like the balance of realizing that there's a whole spectrum of human experience with gender identity, with different aspects of that, both societally and personally, and not holding like excessive attachment to those identities, letting them be more fluid, letting them be letting them exist and whatnot, but not really grasping onto them, but also not denying that they do hold pretty strong impacts as well in existence, and looking at them in both respects, being that they don't have to be so powerfully like such a motivating force, such a strong contributing force in existence, but also that they do exist and that they do impact existence at the same time, which the Buddha did a really good job of kind of incorporating both of those aspects into his original teachings. Being when like an example of that being like when the nuns were practicing, there were certain rules for them where they were not allowed to meditate too far away from groups or in certain parts of the forest, because there are or were higher rates of attack, and the Buddha did understand that. So he wanted them to be able to practice and be able to be a part of the community, but there were also more rules for them as more of a protection than anything else. And then looking out past that, we got into a conversation about modern day gender within Buddhist communities, different lineages and how they view gender. One of the ones that I found very interesting in the article was Tibetan gender, Tibetan Buddhism's view on gender being that they actually have a lot of there we go. A lot of deities, almost, not deities, but a lot of, I'm struggling with the word. They have individuals that they hold in a higher respect that actually shifted between both feminine and masculine qualities within gender, and that was more like just kind of understood as being something that would happen, which is really interesting. And then we touched a little bit on the plight of the bhikkhunis in Theravada countries currently, and the fact that there are a lot of current struggles happening there that do relate into current gender roles. I hope I covered everything.
Wonderful. Cameron, do you want to say something?
No, I think Kara did a fantastic job at summarizing it, but I do think we had a lot of questions towards the end about contemporary circumstances, and maybe if we could just ask you like your subjective take or what you've heard on kind of like why there's so much struggle in Theravadan culture with bikini orders.
Yeah, I also would like to share the news. Recently in Sri Lanka, the Theravada bhikkhunis, they are given the government issued identities now. That's a great news actually for the bhikkhuni, because that was not given before. So there are over 1,000 bhikkhunis. Theravada bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka. So compared to other Theravada countries, that's still a lot. And so started from Theri Sangamita. Hopefully, the new Theravada bhikkhunis will also hopefully flourish. Especially in the West, I think they are doing pretty well. I talk to the Theravada bhikkhunis every full moon day. Give the Dhamma talk to them. So recently also I met them online. We have wonderful bhikkhunis from all over the world working very, very, a lot of things they do. And hopefully the world will open up, more to the bhikkhunis also. Yeah. So the Buddha, as Buddha was very compassionate, he was equal to everyone, and there should be no discrimination to, gender-based anything. So, do you know, like in Brahma realm, there is no gender issue. So once you are in the Brahma realm, there's no gender. If they come here, then again they will have gender. That's also interesting. And just in case they come back to the human realm, the other realms, then they will have gender. But in Brahma realm, they said they don't have, because they already have, worked with the rupa or the rupa. When you talk about like formless realm, you don't want to think of it anymore. Like as Kaila said, anatta, the theory of anatta is really good example that at the end it is all fabrication, all our own fabrications, these identities. We have to break the shackles eventually. The languages, the cultures, the gender, religions, all are kind of shackles. We have to break them all eventually. Yeah. Hopefully, we had a wonderful session today, and really appreciate everyone's contribution towards this session progress. And thank you, everyone. Great energy and thoughtful discussion today. Reminder, we have assignment 1 due August 10, 2025. So please upload your PDF to Google Classroom. And if you have any question, please let me know. If you anticipate any issues, just email me ahead of the deadline so we can work on that. Recordings and slides, as I mentioned, will be posted in the classroom. And so maybe to end, you say one word, and we will have a wonderful day today, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bantu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Banti.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
Wonderful night.